A 55-year-old black man spent 30 happy years with his wife, then found out she'd been cheating from the beginning. I was faithful every single day. I loved her more than I loved myself, said Raymond, a 55-year-old man with tears in his eyes, standing alone in an empty home he once shared with the love of his life. For 30 years, he had been the picture of devotion: anniversary dinners, Sunday walks, surprise gifts, just because. He thought he had a perfect marriage. Until one message on his wife's phone exposed a hidden reality so shocking, so cruel, that it shattered everything he ever believed about love, trust, and himself. What happens when a man finds out the last 30 years were built on a lie? Before we dive in, please support us by subscribe, like, and share for more with activating the notification bell. Thank you. Raymond Booker was 25 years old when he first saw Cynthia at a jazz night in Atlanta. She was radiant, confident, and laughing with a friend when he nervously approached and offered to buy her a drink. That night, they talked for hours. She loved Coltrane and Billie Holiday, just like him. She was a schoolteacher with dreams of writing children's books. He was a mechanic working overtime shifts to open his own garage. There was instant chemistry. They married 2 years later in a modest ceremony. Raymond wore his best suit from his older brother, and Cynthia wore a second-hand white dress that still made everyone gasp. They're meant for each other, people would say for years to come. Raymond worked like a horse. He built a thriving auto repair shop from scratch. He was always home by 6, always ready to help with dinner or do the dishes. On weekends, he'd take Cynthia to her favorite bookstore or a quiet lunch spot by the lake. Everyone envied their relationship. Their home was filled with framed memories, photos from trips to Savannah, birthdays celebrated with friends, and handwritten notes on sticky pads that said, "Miss you already," when one of them left the house. Cynthia seemed like the perfect partner. She supported Raymond when he worked double shifts and stood by him through every up and down. When Raymond's mother passed, it was Cynthia who held him through the night, whispering prayers until he fell asleep. When Cynthia lost her teaching job due to budget cuts, Raymond encouraged her to pursue her dream of publishing a children's book. They were, by all appearances, a team, a unit, a model couple, and for 30 years, Raymond never once doubted her. Not when she came home late from a staff meeting. Not when she went out of town for a literacy workshop. He trusted her completely. Never saw it coming. Raymond's life had a comfortable rhythm. Wake up, morning jog, make coffee, kiss Cynthia goodbye, work until sunset. The only thing that broke this rhythm was his retirement at 55. After 3 decades of hard labor and growing his garage business into a respected name in Georgia, Raymond decided it was time to slow down. He imagined retirement would be with Cynthia, reading in the backyard, maybe even starting a community mentorship program for young black mechanics. Cynthia smiled and nodded supportively whenever he brought it up, but something felt off. With Raymond now home more often, he started noticing small things: whispers on her phone when she thought he was napping, strange hesitation when he asked where she was going, passwords suddenly changed. Then, one afternoon, while Cynthia was showering, her phone buzzed. Raymond had never looked through her phone in 30 years, but this time, something told him to. The message was from a man named Jay. "So, dinner tomorrow, same hotel." Raymond's stomach flipped. Hands trembling, he opened the message thread. What he saw would ruin him. "You still look better than ever, baby. Can't believe it's been almost 30 years since we started." Raymond still clueless. Of course, he trusts me too much. Always did. The thread went back years. Photos, hotel bookings, late-night rendezvous. Raymond felt like he couldn't breathe. He kept scrolling, hoping, praying that it was a misunderstanding. But the deeper he went, the worse it got. He found emails, secret social media accounts, even a shared Dropbox folder with private photos and messages. There were receipts for gifts Cynthia claimed were bought for a coworker's birthday. They were all for Jay. Raymond tried to call his best friend, but hung up before the line rang. How could he even say the words aloud? How could he tell someone that his entire marriage had been built on deception? The walls around him felt like they were closing in. He had lived with a stranger. He had loved a ghost. For hours, Raymond sat on the porch with her phone in his hand. He didn't cry. He didn't scream. He just sat stone still while the summer wind rustled the oak tree in their front yard. When Cynthia finally stepped out of the shower, he was waiting. "Who is Jay?" he asked, holding up her phone. Her face turned pale. "You went through my phone. Answer me." She hesitated. "He's someone I used to know." He laughed bitterly. "Used to?" "Cynthia, this message is from 2 days ago. You've been seeing this man behind my back for years. He knows me by name." Her mask cracked. "It was never supposed to go this far. I never stopped loving you." "Don't you dare say that," Raymond snapped, for the first time in 30 years raising his voice at her. "You let me build a life with you. You let me grow old loving you, and this is what you were doing the whole time." Tears welled in her eyes. "Raymond, I thought it would stop. I thought I could fix it." "How long?" he asked. She didn't answer. "How long?" "Since the first year of our marriage." That was the moment something inside him broke. He stood up, heart pounding, vision blurred. All those anniversaries, every moment we shared, was he there? In the background the whole time? Was I just the safe choice? Cynthia wept. You were the best man I ever knew, Raymond, and that's what scared me. Jay was ... chaos. But you were peace. And you chose chaos for 30 years. They argued until midnight. Then silence fell. Raymond picked up his coat and walked out the door. Not knowing if he'd ever return. Raymond didn't sleep that night. He couldn't. Memories kept flooding his mind, moments he now realized had secret meanings. That business trip during their 5th anniversary, that night she came home crying and blamed it on a fight with her friend. That necklace, she said, she bought for herself. All lies. By morning, he packed a suitcase and left. He didn't yell, he didn't destroy anything, he just left. For weeks, he stayed in a friend's guest room. He shut off his phone. He couldn't face the sympathy, the questions, or the pain. Eventually, Cynthia emailed him pages of apologies, pleas, explanations. She even suggested counseling. But Raymond had reached a truth he couldn't unsee. The woman he loved had never truly been his, and yet he couldn't bring himself to hate her. One day, he finally met up with her. She looked older, weaker, tired. Was broken when I met you, she said. I didn't know how to love someone without sabotaging it. Raymond looked at her, the woman he'd spent 3 decades protecting. I gave you everything, Cynthia. Not because I had to, because I wanted to. I know, he nodded. Then you understand why I have to walk away. She cried as he kissed her on the forehead and left for good. He filed for divorce, quietly, no drama, no revenge. He gave her a fair settlement. His pride wasn't in possessions, it was in the peace he was now reclaiming. 1 year later, Raymond stood on the front steps of a community center he helped renovate. The place buzzed with young men and women, learning vocational skills, carpentry, engine repair, plumbing. It was part of his new mission to rebuild himself by rebuilding others. The betrayal hadn't destroyed him, it had reforged him. In an interview with a local paper, he shared his story. He didn't name Cynthia. He didn't shame her. Instead, he said, people think loyalty guarantees loyalty in return. But life doesn't work that way. Love is not just about the years, it's about truth. If someone gives you their soul, don't repay them with secrets. His story went viral. Thousands of people reached out, men and women who had been betrayed, people who had betrayed others, those healing from deception. Raymond became a speaker at community events and relationship panels. His message was never angry, it was real, raw, honest. He even started writing a memoir called 30 Years of Silence. It wasn't about revenge, it was about rediscovery and healing. And one day, while speaking at a seminar, he noticed a woman in the back row. Kind eyes, warm smile. After the event, she approached him. I've been where you are, she said. They talked for hours. Not about pain, but about second chances. Raymond, now 56, didn't believe in fairy tales anymore, but he did believe in new chapters. And that, he would say, was enough.